At this point, nobody's my problem except for me. And this point is kind of scary because I don't really know how to get out of it in a way. Like, it was easy when people do you wrong, even though it's you who wants to be treated this way. That's why it's kind of like people that you accept because you wanted to be treated that way, so you accept that treatment by people. And so, but when you're when you but when the you when all of that buzz and all of those feelings and all of that overthink about others just lay down, and you're left with this just self and I, and you start working on yourself, you start to try to get on track, you start to be better, but something just stops you and you realize that the something is you. It kind of really hurts because if the problem you can't cut off, I can't cut off me. I can't, because it's easier with other people, because when they do something wrong, you're not thinking, at least I don't think about how can I fix them, right? Now I'm just stating how I want to be treated, and if that doesn't change, I cut them off. And with yourself, you can't do that because you can change. So when you demand something, you change. And that's a healthy relationship, but I don't have a healthy relationship with me. To change, it's like to change, you need to change, but and it needs to be simultaneous, and you fully need to be ready for the change because you weren't that kind of person before, but that doesn't mean that you can't be that kind of person, but it takes time, and getting disappointed with your, like, you can't just be, I mean, you can be proud of yourself all the time, but it's hard because it's like one failure, another failure, and it's hard to believe in yourself, especially when the people, like, once again, I don't know, and I know that in this state I can't enter meaningful connections with other people because I don't have this void filled in me, which means that I will just try to fulfill this void with other people, so I'm just gonna make it toxic. But I'm also not sure because maybe other people will fill this void, and in a nice way, not in toxic way. But I kind of don't believe in that because it didn't work before, because people leave not in a bad kind of way. They just do that, just how things work, and that is okay because that's just how energy works. But that's not how feelings feel. That's not how feelings think because they don't think. They just happen. They just reactions that you can kind of control, but you can't really, and it's just so hard. Because I don't know, like, how do you change? Because it's okay to do it one day, it's okay to do it the second day, but the third day, you've already done it for 2 days, right? And you don't see change right away. This, like, valley of valley of failure. I think Gary Vee called it that. It was so confusing. It's so hard. Life is hard. But I'm not complaining about it. It's just like I'm stating fact. Stay hydrated. Life is hard, and I mean that's the fun of it. But it's just so much responsibility because you're not playing this game of life alone. You have other people that depend on you. You have other things that depend on you, and it's like you're not the only one, like, people rely on you, people do things for you, and because of that you have to do stuff to work. Again, not like it's to work, right? But like, it's just when this pressure is on, it all seems so much heavier than it is, and it's so hard to start. It's so hard to start. And even when you do start, it's hard to continue, right? Like in the first few steps. And this is when I give up all the time. And I don't want to give up this time because that's not my limit, you know? It's awful to see all of that potential that you know you have because you just know, but you're just wasting it. You're just wasting it because you're too lazy, you don't have motivation, your mental health is not in a good state, and it gets worse because you can't achieve things that people expect and that you expect. And it's so confusing because why others do it and you can't? Because you know you can, but you're just not doing it. That's just disappointing. And it just like I don't even I'm trying to not invalidate myself here, but it's hard because I don't deserve to whine about things like that. But at the same time, I don't want to ignore my feelings because that's how I feel. But I don't feel like I deserve to feel this way because there's so much privilege I have overall, and then just not using it, just throwing it away. My time, the most important, like, the most important resource we have, just wasting it like that, being sad about it. It's like I start, and then in the middle I take a rest, and I think it's gonna be a short rest. I think it's gonna take 5 minutes, then I sleep for 30 minutes, then I sleep for an hour, then I wake up, and I'm telling myself I'm still tired. So today I'll take a break, and then this day turns into 2 days. Then those 2 days take 3 days, and I just constantly feel tired. I don't feel better, and so mindless. This is the problem. So mindless. I feel like, and I hate being mindless. I hate scrolling on TikTok and realizing in a second that I don't know what I watched. Like literally a scroll before. That's I feel like that's really awful. And just doing things to get the minimum excitement out of yourself because it's really hard to get excited over anything else, and without this excitement it feels like you're just stagnant because you are working, but it doesn't feel like you're achieving anything. It doesn't feel like your work is paying off because you keep failing. And even if it does build up, this energy doesn't go to waste. And for me personally, it's really important to see the results. And when I don't, it's such like a turn off. I'm just like, okay, so what am I doing this for? Like, I know I'm doing this for bright future. I know I'm doing this to be better, to be the best version of myself, to end up in places I want to end up and open doors that would be closed otherwise. But if the results are not showing, what is the meaning? Can I really do this? And I know I can, but am I doing enough? And if I'm not doing enough, then what is enough? Can I be enough? Can I do enough? And yes, of course I can, but I will feel so bad when I do this enough. And even thinking about the fact that it's only this time limit, and deadlines are for specific goals, being that kind of person that does it is kind of a different thing, and that's the thing that I overthink because this is the part where it gets tricky. Are you the person who works their ass off? And are you the person who does it? Are you the person who achieves it? Or are you the loser who just thinks they can't and doesn't never do it? And it just sucks. It sucks because you don't want to be a loser. But to not be a loser, you need to go at 10, to sleep at 10. You need to wake up at 6. You need to not talk to people who don't have the same sleeping schedule as you because you will want to stay up and talk to them. You have to not feel lonely because when you feel lonely, you become desperate for talks, you become desperate for attention and validation, even if you give it enough to yourself, you need it from other people. And so, once again, you fuck up your sleeping schedule, you fuck up your system, and when you fuck up your system, it's just hard to continue to do something because when you have system, you know what you're gonna do, at what time you're gonna do it, and how long it takes to bring you where you want to be. But when one day goes wrong, it's like the whole pyramid just crashes and you need to reschedule it. You need to think it through again. And it takes so much mental ability. And just starting it, just doing it seems so scary. It does. And it's just hard. It is hard, but in a nice way. But I'm sure I will succeed because I'm not like it's small give ups. You have to lose the battle to win the war. And I agree with that, and this is the mindset I'm trying to build, but it just you just get emotional. You just get emotional, and I think you should really get those emotions out. And I have a huge need to share things with people because when I share I feel hurt and seen by myself personally because it gives me the ability to look from the other lens, you know. And I feel better now. I have SATs in a week, and it's stressing me out. And because it depends, like the scores, it will affect my scholarship, my ability to get a scholarship, my geography, where I'll be in the next 4 years, and maybe will stay there. It decides so much. It's just scary in a way. So yeah, and I was never good like at academical like stuff. I usually I fail like not fail. I'm in the middle ground because I'm not doing enough. And now I want to do enough. I have a month to do enough, and now 3 days I can't pull myself together, and it's a week till the exam. And I'm just gonna go study. I'm just gonna go study because I don't see any other way. In a way, that sounds cringy. I don't care. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Stay hydrated.